When I saw a video camera, a color video camera being advertised for $1, I thought, no, this has got to be a misprint. $1 for a video camera. Well, that's what this thing was being advertised at. It was on eBay. A $1 color video camera. I thought, okay, why not? Let's order a $1 video camera. It was $1 US, and I think it was $3 shipping. Less than $5. I placed my order and I got it. That's what I got. I kind of put some tape around it because I've taken it apart to see the guts of this thing. And you're probably wondering, does this thing work? Well, actually it does. It sort of works. Do I dare show you the picture? I mean, this thing has a god-awful picture. It's color. I have no idea what's going on here, though. That screwdriver handle is supposed to be red, and well, as you can see, it actually was working. When I first turned this thing on, it actually had a picture, but it seems to be fading as time goes by here. Just absolute piece of junk. They say 10 lux. It's more like 200 lux. It's bright in here, and this thing is having a hard time seeing anything. Anyway, I thought you guys might like to see what this little piece of junk looks like inside. But anyway, before I do that, let's take a look at these specifications. So it's a 1/4 inch 270K pixel interline transfer CCD, and it has 512 horizontal by 492 vertical pixels. So it's capable of 330 TV lines, so standard definition. Has a pinhole lens and 8-bit to D and 10-bit D to A converter. So it's converting the signal off the CCD at 8 bits analog to digital, but then it's using a 10-bit digital to analog converter to convert that digital signal once it's processed it back to analog to output. If that really makes any sense. 10 lux, what they're saying. It's signal to noise is 46 dB, and the AGC can go as much as 6 dB. It says the electronic shutter 1/60th to 1/100 or 1/100,000th of a second automatic white balance, internal synchronization, and all the other same old BS crap that you would expect out of a webcam, basically. But this is a webcam, and essentially that's probably what they've done, is they've taken a webcam and they've just put it into back into an analog output on this thing. But let's get this thing apart. I want to see what this thing looks like inside. Now, the first thing I noticed, this thing is actually quite warm when it's running. It runs on, and it's made in Japan. It runs on 5 volts. And the back just pops off the thing quite easy. And there's our inside of the guts of this camera. Got a couple components in here. Let's take a look and see what we've got in this thing. Now, of course, the first thing one has to note is this is not a new camera. This has been around for quite a few years. So this is pretty old technology. So what we've got on here, I'll just point out the parts that I know for sure. I don't know what all these parts are because I haven't looked them all up. But that one is the CCD. And you'll see when I take the board out, we have a crystal for our reference here. Got a couple capacitors in here and a couple of ICs on the front here. That one, there's a 93AA46 and a 2360A, and just a couple capacitors, and I don't even see any resistors on this side of the board. A couple little resistors. There's a little one down here, R9. The rest of them are all capacitors in it, and a little choke over here. It's a single board solution, and I think there's probably a chip on the other side of this thing too. If I lift the board out, I'm pretty sure there's one chip on the other side of this thing. So here's our lens, and oh, isn't that dirty? That's probably why the picture's not looking very good. That's the infrared cut filter. Comes off there. There's our lens. the lens has got dirt on it. No wonder the picture looks like crap. I think this filter probably comes apart. Yeah, it does. So this is here's our infrared cut filter. And as you can see, it is dirty. So that there's probably contributing to the poor picture. That infrared filter, it just fits into this little holder. That's what holds the infrared filter up against the body. And there's our little glass lens, and as you can see, I think it's even going to show up pretty good on camera. There's dust on this thing. This is how I got this camera, by the way. This is probably why it sold for $1. So maybe if I clean that lens up a bit, we might actually get a picture. Look at the crap on the back of that lens. Let's see if I can find something to clean that with. Real high-tech way of cleaning this thing. I don't know. I don't think the dirt's on this side. I think the dirt might be on the other side of the lens. The dirt is probably in the front here. Yeah, you can see the dirt right in through the hole in the front here on the pinhole lens. So that's contributing to the crappy picture right there. I wonder if I can take this lens apart and see if I can clean it. Well, the good news is I did get the front pinhole portion off of it so I could clean the lens on the inside. The bad news is the thing shot out of here at 100 miles an hour. So now I gotta go look for the thing and find it. Fortunately, I don't think I had to look too far because I did find the piece. It's stuck on with like a double-sided tape. Here's the piece there. So I just have to put that back on, and now the lens is a little cleaner. We might actually get a picture out of this thing. Obviously we need the pinhole for the focal length, right? Otherwise we'll have no depth of field. Well, that looks a lot better already. There, the filter sits in just like that. Now let's take a look at the business end of this thing. Now that the optics are taken care of, here's the business end of the camera. So it's a 2-chip solution. Looks like it's got a custom ASIC here. You can read that number on there. It's a PD. It's hard to read that number. But it looks to be a custom ASIC that they've got. A Pixera. We can get some light on there and see a PDX100 something. Anyway, here's our CCD imager on there, and that's the back side of this chip here. They just mounted it on there and cut a hole in the board for the actual sensor. We can see if we can get some of the dust out of this thing too. I think we do have an electrical problem on this camera though, because even with the lens off, if I show you the screen, okay, we get a solid white picture. If I cover up the CCD, half the screen looks to be kind of greenish and the other half is kind of a pink color. So I think we still have a problem with this, at least when the gain is up. But let's just try putting the circuit board back into that lens assembly and see if we actually can even get a picture off the thing. I gotta adjust my focus because I cranked the lens in when I was trying to unscrew it. It's got pretty good close-up focus there. That looks a little better. Looks a whole lot better actually. Just that the color is the pits on it, but the picture actually is not bad now for standard definition. I get a shot of the monitor here. Just holding this thing up, I'll point this thing around my garage here. As you can see, it works. Doesn't have a great picture. This is red, and you can see here halfway through the image it's red and then it goes to green. I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but this is made in Japan. Interesting little device. I'm curious what these things sold for when they were new, because I'm sure that this one that I picked up off eBay was not new, and that's probably why it was $1, because the lens was full of crap. You guys aren't going to believe this. Sometimes the simplest things, like removing the power and powering the thing back up again, the color shift is gone. So let's just put this thing back together here and see how it looks now. That was weird. I just figured for the heck of it I'd take the power off it and plug it back in, and it tends to have fixed it, looks like. We'll put the camera back together and snap the back on it. Literally it just snaps together like that, and let's see how this thing looks on a better monitor than what it's on. This one here is not a real good monitor to see it on. Well, now on the on my little Sony monitor up here, some feedback. This is shooting a tube monitor with a rolling shutter camera isn't also the best thing to do. And that's what's causing these lines here, is you're actually seeing the aperture grill on the you're seeing the aperture grill on the tube itself, but it's actually not bad. You know, it has a respectable picture now, as opposed to before. It was just horrible. So I guess for a $1 camera, not bad. For a $1 camera, it'll get the job done. And now I'll look at it again on the little cheap LCD monitor that I've got here, now that I've adjusted the color a bit on this thing, so you can see how it looks. That looks a little better. It's a whole lot better. There you go. There's the camera I'm shooting this with. My modified Sony. It's a little CX220, but I've put an adapter ring on it so that I can put filters on this thing. So that's my little modified, that's my little cheap camera that I use for making the YouTube videos. I have a much better one that I use for, you know, for higher quality stuff, but for the YouTube videos, that's what I use, because it's got a really wide angle lens. It'll go back really wide and it'll go in real close. As you can see, 32 times lens. I hope you enjoyed this one, and say for $1, yeah, I think this one's a winner. For $1, now I gotta find something to use it for. Catch you later.